Hello friends, my name is Alex and I want to welcome you to my Finding Lost Civilization series. This series is about taking a journey into our past and finding ancient sites that time has long forgotten. Today we're in Robinson Canyon, which is located off of Carmel Valley in Monterey County, California. There are several segments to this trek that I took, but in this first segment we're going to follow a trail towards a cave that I spotted off in the distance. And our effort today is to find signs of ancient habitation. So anyways, let's take this journey, let's follow this trail and see where it leads us to. Well, this is the trail that I'm following. Not much to see, except if you look up over here, you can see where the grass is growing here and then here, but over here there's a small thin path. The only thing I see are animal tracks, and hopefully this is not leading me to the mountain lion's lair. Well friends, I have arrived here to this ancient habitation shelter. It is located directly behind me. And I tell you what, when I arrived to the entrance, I was really surprised at what I saw. And it reminded me that one must always be careful and alert when they are trekking out in a wilderness. My treks are solitary, and the only people who are on this journey are you and I. I don't have a supporting crew to help me in case of problems. Nor do I have a script, and oftentimes I don't know what follows, one step after the other. Well, anyways, let me show you what I found when I entered this ancient habitation shelter along the slopes of Robinson Canyon. Well, as I looked into this cave, I immediately saw a large bone and recognized it as the bone or the foot one of the many deers that roam this area. Look at that. There is the remnants of a feast that a mountain lion had. Friends, I was following a game trail, leaving the mountain lion den when I saw this in front of me. It's barely discernible now because it's rained. Before us we have this mountain lion print. Look at the size of this print. And you can see actually where my fingers are. This is where the claws of the front paws of the mountain lion were. This is one heck of a big mountain lion. Now this here is a little worn away because it's rained. But I tell you, this mountain lion is way over 100 pounds. It's a big guy, and we certainly don't want to meet it during our treks. As I followed the game trail that led away from the mountain lion den, it took me to a ledge. And as I looked down, I could see an arroyo below me. And inside that arroyo, I could hear a running stream. And I noticed that it was a beautiful oak tree grove below us. And so I decided to explore the area because I knew that oak trees and running water were always a sign of life. I continued to follow this game trail along this ledge, and as I rounded the corner, I saw the source of water in this little hidden arroyo. As I turned the corner, I noticed that we were in a small box canyon and that the water source came from this wall directly before us. And I thought to myself, my goodness, this was definitely the source of life. Fresh water in an oak grove forest. This is exactly what the ancients needed to sustain themselves. And so I have decided to go down into the small box canyon and to find signs of ancient life. Friends, here is the stream that the game trail took me to. And directly ahead of us is the cave that I saw.
I'm a little bit apprehensive after having found the mountain lion cave. So I will go slowly with a bit of trepidation and my antennas up. But you will see exactly what I see as we enter that cave. We're going on this trek together. If you see a mountain lion before I do, scream, yell, let me know. But look at this place. This is incredible. Look at this. There's no doubt in my mind that the ancients who inhabited this area once lived here. This is a perfect place to have your home. This is an acorn forest with fresh water and shelter, temporary shelter if that's what you needed. My goodness. So, let us go slowly. As I said, if you see anything, yell. Let me know. Be my eyes and my ears. Look at this over here. I'm going to approach slowly. There's no doubt that that is. I can see prints in there. An animal shelter. Oh boy, I'll tell you. Look at this. Can you imagine in a rainy season, the water running down through here? This is incredible. So, let's continue our journey. If the camera shakes, you know it's me. As I said, these treks are solitary. The only person on this journey is me and you. Oh my goodness, I think I see some feathers. A meal. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna go up this stone here. Let me jump up. Here we go. All right. So I'm gonna approach slowly, gingerly, keeping an eye out, just like a warrior would, to make sure he would not be ambushed from above or from his rear. Well, here you have it. This is the cave right here. This is the habitation shelter. And yes, I see footprints. They're old and they're not new, so that's a good sign. But let me come closer and let us both take a look at what exists over here. Yes, you can see that the ground's been disturbed. Let me show you. Look at this. You can see that the ground is disturbed. All kinds of footprints. But luckily for us, there is no mountain lion here today. So let's continue our search in this area to see if we can find signs of ancient life. This is the view from this spot. Look at that. Isn't this majestic? So, we're going to continue searching this area to see what we can find. Look at this. This is beautiful. This is wonderful. Well, friends, what I'm looking for is a symbol. Some sign that the ancients were here. Maybe a painted handprint along these ledges or along this wall. This place is fantastic. One of the things is that these boulders here are sandstone. So they're very fragile to the elements. Well, friends, what we're going to do is we're going to inspect this ledge. I can see that there's many animal prints here. So let's take a closer look to see what our journey can reveal to us. Okay. Again, over here, closer to the wall, I can see many small footprints. So we know that animals definitely visit this place. And you can see by the soil over here that as time goes along, it washes its way down into the stream. So I'm looking at the ceiling over here to see if there are any ancient signs, okay, left by the Rumsen Indians of this area. Let me share with you something interesting that I just noticed. As I mentioned before, all this earth before us is on a slope, it's on a slant, and it slides down into the stream below us. So, as I was looking at this earth, trying to find footprints, I noticed something very interesting. I saw this piece of cracked earth right here. You can see it right here. And I noticed this item sticking out over here. So it washed down from up there and got caught here in this little fissure. And eventually it would tumble down into the stream. But the interesting thing that I noticed about this item is look how sharp the edge is. This is unusual. This is a stone, and this is mostly dirt in front of us. And so I took a real close look at the item. As I examined it, I noticed that it was shaped. This is what's called napping. This is how a stone is shaped. You can see right over here at the edges that it's been flaked off. And one of the things that I noticed, that the edge right here was very sharp. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out of that fissure and we're going to examine it together. Well, here I go. Let me pull it out here. It's been here a while, and let's examine it together. My goodness, look at the edge on there. This is very, very sharp. And I can tell it's been shaped. This, my friends, is a Stone Age tool. Look at this. I'm just feeling it around. Okay, look at this. This has been shaped to form a natural kitchen tool. Look at this. Look how sharp it is. And if you look closely, you can see that the edge has been chipped. So this tool, this Stone Age tool, is called a scraper. Look at this. This is how it's held. It fits the hand perfectly. Items would be cut this way, or a deer skin or a cougar skin would be scraped away this way. That's why these are called scrapers. This is also a cutting tool. This is incredible. So we know that this ancient tool lies here in this overhang. So ancient man did in fact live here, or at least visit this area. As I said, this is a Stone Age tool. This tool is hundreds upon hundreds of years old, and possibly thousands of years old. Similar scrapers like this have been found in North Africa, and these scrapers are hundreds of thousands of years old. My goodness, what a fantastic discovery.
Friends, I want to mention that our treks are about gathering knowledge. It's about learning. It's not about hunting for artifacts or arrowheads or buried treasure, although one day I sure would like to find a buried treasure. So things like the scraper that we found in a cave, we leave those behind so that those who come later on, maybe future generations, can experience the same joy that we have today. Before we leave this cave area, let me share one more thing that I found with you. You know, I always find the juxtaposition of the modern and the past very interesting. And certainly when we found that Stone Age tool, I felt like I was the only person that had been to that cave in the last several hundred years. Well, 100 feet away from the cave, as I was following the stream that led down from the hillside, this is what I found. A plastic bottle of chocolate milk. Just goes to show you, you think you might be the only person, maybe lost in time, in a place like Robinson Canyon. And in fact, this area has been used by man for 10,000 years, throughout the millenniums, right up until today, where that plastic bottle of chocolate milk was dropped. Well, even finding that was interesting. Well, friends, I've had a wonderful time exploring the mountain lion cave and then following a game trail into the secret little hidden Bucks Canyon, this arroyo that also contained a habitation shelter, and then finding that Stone Age tool was really exciting. But I think it's time to move out of this canyon. And so in this next segment, what we're going to do is go trek the hills of Robinson Canyon. We're going to go out into the sun, and we're going to search through the oak tree groves along the slopes. Now, hundreds of years ago, the grinding mortars that the ancients used were visible. They knew the area, and they also cleaned it up. They kept the brush groomed, so to speak. But now, in the past several hundred years, overgrown brush and debris has covered almost all the grinding mortars here in Robinson Canyon. So our trek will be about trying to find a site near an oak grove where these ancient grinding mortars still exist and can be found. So anyways, this should be a lot of fun. Let's continue our trek and go up into the sun along the hillsides of Robinson Canyon.
Hey!
I'm approaching this oak grove over here, and directly in front of us I see a series of boulders. So let's go examine them and see if they contain any mortars used to process the acorn. Well, here you have it. I'm approaching these boulders, and look at this over here. You can tell that the grass and foliage over the last several hundred years has grown over these boulders. When the ancients lived here, they keep this area clean, and this is why sometimes these bedrock mortars are hard to spot, because nature has taken over. Leaves and foliage has covered up the bedrock mortar. So here's what we're looking at. Let us survey these boulders over here. And oh my goodness, friends, I can see them. Can you? After you find several of these, finding them comes so naturally. The eye becomes accustomed to what you're looking at. Can you see them? Let me show you. Let me come in real close. Isn't this wonderful? Look at this over here. Okay, grass is growing on top of this boulder. Let me pull it out over here. Let me show you. Okay, look at this. What we have here is an ancient bedrock mortar. And oh my goodness, look at this. Here's another one. Let me take out the grass. This grass has grown here for hundreds of years, covering up the bedrock mortar. Look at this. Here's another one right over here. And another one right over there. So right here, immediately in this area, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. And oh my goodness, here's a bigger one. 5. Okay, another one, 6 right here. Another one, 7. Oh my goodness, 8. I'll tell you, this is a wonder to find. Oh my goodness, there's another one right there, look. Right there. This has been covered over. As I said, the last time the ancients were here were hundreds of years ago.
Well, friends, I've had a wonderful time here at these ancient grinding mortars. Let me explain something to you. When the Rumsen Indians came here to gather acorn, it wasn't acorn for food for that day. This processing was for the gathering of food that would last for the coming year or until the next acorn season. Well, anyways, I've had a wonderful time. Let's continue our trek here in Robinson Canyon. I know there's many more wonders that will open themselves up to us. Let's go and have some fun.
Well, this is interesting. As I was hiking up this ridge line, I happened to look down to one side of the ridge, and I saw this dark shadow, and upon closer examination found another cave. This whole area is dotted with caves. I'll tell you, friends, I love caves. I love going into them. I always feel like I'm stepping into a land of discovery. There's an interesting legend in this area. It's called the Cave of the Golden Quills. And many years ago, gold dust was stored in feathers. And you ask yourself, what do you mean by feathers? Well, if you've ever held a large feather, you'll notice that the inside is tubular and empty. Now the legend goes that the ancient Indians found gold, and inside the quill of a condor feather, they stored gold. And then they laid these condor feathers in a cave. So, the legend says, the Cave of the Golden Quills is there to be found.
Well, friends, it's been a wonderful day here in Robinson Canyon, and I hope you've enjoyed this trek as much as I have. And as I was leaving this canyon and following a trail, I happened to look down, and look what I found. I found a bunch of feathers that once belonged to a turkey, a wild turkey that roamed this canyon before it met its maker. And so these feathers reminded me that life here in Robinson Canyon and all its beauty could be very fragile. And so I should say, always be aware of your surroundings. Also, let's say a prayer to the gods of the ancients, thanking them that we did not have to join the ancients in their afterlife on this trip. Well, anyways, come with me, follow me, as I continue to explore ancient sites that have been lost in time. Well, friends, maybe I spoke too soon. Can you hear that? Run! Run! Run, Forrest! Run!